the empire built on a child's back. Shion and Loann Kaji are watching their billion-dollar empire crumble in real time. The parents who turned their 3-year-old into YouTube's highest-paid creator are now desperately trying to keep their sinking ship afloat. But here's the thing, everyone saw this coming. Back in 2015, little Ryan Kaji started opening toy boxes in his family's living room. Fast forward a few years, and this kid became the most successful child on the internet, pulling in over $20 million annually. But while Ryan was busy being a human cash machine, his parents were busy exploiting every second of his childhood for content. The exploitation that critics warned about for years is finally catching up with them. And honestly, it's about time someone talked about what really happened behind the scenes of Ryan's world. The rise, building a child labor factory. Let's go back to where it all started. In 2015, Shion and Loann Kaji filmed their 3-year-old son Ryan opening toys in their living room. The video went viral, and these parents saw dollar signs instead of childhood innocence. Within months, they'd quit their real jobs. Loann was a chemistry teacher, Shion was an engineer, to become full-time content farmers using their toddler as the star employee. Think about that for a second. 2 educated adults with stable careers decided their preschooler opening Kinder eggs was a better business model than actual professions. They hired a 30-person production team, incorporated Sunlight Entertainment, and basically turned their house into a content factory with Ryan working more hours than most adults. By the time Ryan was still learning multiplication tables, he was filming 25 segments every week across multiple channels. 25! That's more content than seasoned YouTubers produce in months, and this kid couldn't even tie his own shoes properly. Every aspect of his life became monetized entertainment. Family vlogs, science experiments, daily routines. The boy couldn't brush his teeth without it becoming content for his parents' empire. The money started flowing like water. Ryan's face was plastered on everything from Walmart toys to Colgate toothpaste. He had his own Macy's parade balloon, product lines, and licensing deals worth hundreds of millions. His parents built a billion-dollar brand on shoulders that were still growing. And the worst part? No laws protected Ryan's earnings the way they protect child actors in Hollywood. All that money legally belonged to mommy and daddy. But even back then, people were side-eyeing this whole operation. Critics weren't just throwing shade, they were launching full solar eclipses. The FTC launched an investigation because apparently turning your living room into a 24/7 advertisement disguised as playtime raises some eyebrows. Consumer advocates accused them of deceiving millions of kids with ads that looked like regular content. Here's the kicker. Preschoolers can't tell the difference between Ryan loves this toy and Ryan's getting paid to love this toy. The family even had to rebrand from Ryan's Toys Review to Ryan's World to make it sound less commercial. That's like calling a casino a fun money adventure center. Same energy, different packaging. The sponsored content kept flowing because apparently ethics don't pay the bills like overworking Ryan does. While Ryan was out here being the family breadwinner, his parents were holding the bread, the butter, and probably the entire grocery store. They were living in a Hawaiian mansion, driving luxury cars, and building their wealth empire, all funded by their son's childhood. Public criticism started mounting as people realized what was happening. Child psychologists warned about the long-term effects. Legal experts questioned the ethics. Parents started feeling uncomfortable watching a kid work harder than their own children played. But the Kajis didn't care about the criticism because the money was too good to stop. The downfall, when karma comes calling. But karma doesn't forget addresses, and it definitely doesn't skip YouTube channels. Fast forward to today, and the Kaji empire is collapsing harder than a house of cards in a hurricane. Remember when Ryan's World was pulling in over 1 billion views? Those days are deader than flip phones. New videos now struggle to break 100,000 views. We're talking about a 70% drop in viewership, which for a channel of this size isn't a decline. It's a free fall with no parachute. The reasons are both obvious and satisfying. Ryan grew up, and so did his audience. The 5-year-olds who used to worship him are now preteens who think the same content his parents are forcing him to make is cringe. Meanwhile, new toddlers aren't interested in watching a teenager pretend to be excited about toys. But wait, it gets even worse for Ryan's parents. YouTube changed its algorithm after the COPPA crackdown, and suddenly channels featuring kids weren't getting the royal treatment anymore. Loann herself admitted they lost 70% of their income practically overnight. That's not a pay cut, that's financial amputation. Just when you thought Ryan's parents couldn't dig themselves a deeper hole, they decided to make a movie. Ryan's World, the movie Titan Universe Adventure, sounds epic, right? Yeah, no. This cinematic masterpiece managed to gross a whopping $624,000 against a $10 million budget. They lost nearly $9.5 million on what was essentially a very expensive home video. Theaters were emptier than a Logan Paul apology. By the third weekend, indie films nobody had heard of were outgrossing Ryan's Hollywood debut. The movie flopped so hard you could hear the echo in empty theaters. It's poetic justice that the project, which was seen as a quick money grab by Ryan's parents, ended up accelerating their downfall instead. Here's where the story gets really dark. As Ryan started showing signs of being over the whole YouTube thing, appearing tired, reluctant, speaking in flat tones like he'd rather be literally anywhere else, his parents made a move that would make even the greediest stage parents blush. They started pushing his younger twin sisters, Emma and Kate, into the spotlight. The girls, who are only 7 years old, now have their own animation series and are increasingly featured in family content. It's like watching someone finish draining one well and then immediately start digging another. The internet's reaction was absolute disgust. Comments like, "Ryan made his parents $34 million and now they're exploiting his baby sisters," started flooding social media. The public opinion shift has been brutal and well-deserved. People are finally seeing the Kajis for what they always were: two adults who monetized their children's innocence and called it family content. The fact that multiple states have rushed to pass child influencer laws requiring parents to set aside earnings for their children is basically society admitting the Kaji model was exploitation all along. Recent interviews with the family have been particularly telling. When Ryan appeared on podcasts, viewers noticed how uncomfortable he looked, how little he spoke, and how his parents did most of the talking. Comments poured in, predicting a future Netflix documentary about how his parents robbed him blind. People are literally counting down the years until Ryan turns 18 and can tell his real story. The Kajis are desperately trying to keep their sinking ship afloat. They're recycling old footage of younger Ryan, using his face in thumbnails for videos he barely appears in, and pushing the twins harder than a Black Friday sale. But the writing's on the wall. The golden goose is cooked, their reputation is in shambles, and their legacy will forever be those parents who use their kid for YouTube fame. The gravy train has officially derailed. Views are down, income is slashed, and the public has turned against them. They still have money from the peak years, the Hawaiian mansion, the product lines, but their empire is crumbling. The algorithm that once favored them now works against them. The audience that made them rich has moved on. The child who built their fortune is showing clear signs he wants out. The Reckoning, a cautionary tale. Complete. The fall of Ryan's World isn't just karma. It's a cautionary tale about what happens when you build an empire on a child's back. The Kajis turned their son into the most famous kid on the internet, but in doing so, they guarantee their own downfall. By 2029 or 2030, when Ryan's 18 and the twins are 12, this whole operation will finally collapse under its own greed. Ryan will have the legal right to speak his truth, control his earnings, and potentially expose what really happened behind the cameras. The countdown has already begun, and his parents know it. Their current state is a sinking ship with parents desperately trying to stay afloat by exploiting their younger children. But the public is watching, critics are louder than ever, and new laws are being written specifically to prevent future Ryan Kajis. The Kajis' legacy is cemented. They're the parents who exploited their child for YouTube fame and called it family content. Sometimes the best revenge is just letting karma do its job, and in this case, karma is working overtime.